Possum Sausage Forge here, giving a little update on the hewing axe that I am remaking, or refinishing. So I've ground majority of the pitting out of the cheeks. Most that's going to have to stay because it is already very nice and thin. See if I can get that to focus. So it's probably about 3/16 thick for about here on forward. Nice and thin. And after the grinding that I've done, I am very certain, as I had thought before, this is wrought iron body. You can see some grain down there at the bottom. Flip it over. There's a bunch of your typical wrought iron grain, and this was all pitted. You know, this is not being ground and that grain shown through. This is just how much it was pitted. And then it must be a shear steel bit is what I am banking on. So I have it set up with got an oak handle going on, white oak. I believe 26-inch handle, maybe, coming out of the head. So coming out of the head, looks like we're at about 22 3/4. Overall length is 27 3/4. I guess I never measured this. You got about almost 7.5 inch bit. I have not actually put this on a scale to see what it really weighs, but it definitely feels like about a 6-pound or so head. I'm going with a straight handle. I'm honestly kind of scared to drop this because that bit is so sharp. So it did crook a little bit while hanging, but the bit is pretty well in line with the handle. And I think I touched on this topic with the first video, but the reason being, because there is no offset on that axe head, trying to get you to focus here. It's not going to focus. There's no offset on the axe head, so it's what's called a zero bevel, or a knife edge, or in reality it's a double bevel. So instead of having one face perfectly flat that would be against the log as you're hewing, it's all centered. And because of that, with this straight handle, you could hew one way. Say you come up on a knot or a piece that's wanting to tear out, you could flip around and hew the other way, and the handle will be the exact same. So that's just my theory on it. I have yet to hew a single log, but I hope to in the future. And just my way of thinking is this: having a double bevel, instead of the axe head, say my anvil was a log, instead of the axe head being flat in against the log, because it's double bevel, you have to be out anyway. Well, that already provides your knuckle clearance. And then you could come around to the other side and hew the exact same. Obviously, it'll be a right hand versus left hand versus which hand you have up high on the handle. But it kind of makes sense to me for a more universal deal to have a knife edge, a centered bit, and a straight handle. and I am pretty dang happy with the handle fit up. I've got nice and tight all the way around. Obviously there's a open spot there in the back where that forge weld is, and another bit of an open spot up here where the forge weld is in the front. Got just a little bit loose up here on top, but once I throw wedges in that'll tighten up just fine. Now when I was setting this handle during the fitting process, I set it a little too tight, and with all the pitting inside that eye, I could not drive that out. So I had to use all sorts of punches and drifts and everything to try and drive that handle out, and it ended up putting all those pock marks in there, but that's all gonna get nipped off anyway. Yeah, I kind of had a crap my pants moments when the handle was drove in about halfway, and it was all I could do to drive it back out. I thought it was in there for good. Thought I was gonna have to cut the handle off and drill it out and start over, but this is where we sit. Pretty happy with that. There's no palm swell. I've heard stories either way regarding the palm swell. Some guys say you need it to really anchor down and give power, but it's a hewing axe. It's not made for power. It's made for dropping. And I've been playing around with it here. I mean, this thing, see if I can do this while holding the camera. I mean, it's just stupid sharp. Those are just mill marks off of a factory 2x4. Going down here. And all I'm doing is pulling that edge across those marks, and it is shaving off super nice. Super nice. Got a little too aggressive there. Here, we'll just let the weight. I'm not pushing down, I'm just letting the axe, just the weight of the axe. Look at those curls. So satisfying. So yep, there's where I'm at so far. I'm going to call the axe head done. Obviously it's sharp. I've got the cheeks pretty well cleaned up, nice and smooth. That's sanded with a DA sander at 220 grit. It kind of just gives a random sanding pattern, kind of like a mottled finish, matte finish, whatever. And then I've treated all this black, the original corrosion, all that is treated with Zax wax, which is a blacksmith finish. I love this stuff. Super water resistant. It gives a very nice sheen. So I threw the back side of the axe head into my forge. I heated that up until the wax would just melt into there, get inside all those pores and seal them off. And then this up here, what I shined up, I used some of this Johnson paste wax. It goes on a bit easier, and I think just gives it's an easier low heat finish. I think the paste wax is. Zax wax requires a lot more heat to get it to melt and really get that nice shine to it, but both of those are great finishes. I've got a great edge on here. This thing is just stupid sharp. So get that handle finished up, get it wedged in place, and then I want to make a leather cover bit guard. And then still need to get those log dogs made. I started to make a set of them. The only material I had, I came out with these. They're only 14 inch from corner to corner, so fairly small. So I'll probably buy some stock and make some about 18 to 20 inch log dogs. Be a more general purpose. So there's where I am so far. Thanks for watching.